What is aviation business? Here we will be looking at how a business major is often required and applied in the aviation industry for a pilot. Aviation business can be most simply described as the purpose of using general aviation aircraft or commercial aircraft for business purposes or profit. Common knowledge associated with a business major is quite necessary in performing and understanding the business side of operations in this industry. Individuals in this industry typically obtain a 4-year degree in business or an aviation-related business degree. The vast majority of major airlines will require a pilot to have a 4-year degree with a business major. The amount of schooling or type of degree is relative to what you intend to pursue as a pilot. For example, a major airline pilot or a charter flight pilot will typically need a 4-year degree with a business major. Careers in aviation. There are a wide range of career opportunities available in aviation. However, pilot jobs are quite competitive and limited. Despite this, there are a multitude of options pilots have, such as flying for a major airline such as American, Delta, or United, charter operations for companies such as NetJets or Wheels Up, ferrying aircraft between 2 different airports, freighter airlines such as UPS or FedEx, air ambulance or air taxi captains, or being a test pilot for a major company such as Boeing or Airbus. Important skills for professional pilots. There are numerous highly important skills that a pilot must possess to perform the job and tasks at hand efficiently and appropriately. These skills include multitasking, clear communication, decisiveness and quick thinking skills, situational awareness, confidence, team working skills. All these skills are extremely important for the safe and efficient operation. For the interview portion of this, I chose to do an interview with a senior American Airlines pilot. Captain Ty Singer is an American Airlines pilot with over 50 years of experience in the aviation industry. He has his private pilot's license, his instrument rating, multi-engine rating, commercial pilot's license, and his airline transport license. Along with these ratings, he has type ratings in multiple aircraft, including Boeing aircraft, Airbus, and Learjet aircraft, with over 30,000 total flight hours. He has also owned and operated aircraft sales and brokerage corporations selling aircraft on an international scale. He has flown captain, first officer, and flight engineer for Piedmont Airlines on the Boeing 727-200, 737-800. He's flown captain for U.S. Airways on the Boeing 737-800, Boeing 757-800, and he has also flown captain for American Airlines on the Boeing 737-800 and Airbus A330-300.
According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, marine biology is defined as the science that deals with the animals and plants that live in the sea. It also deals with airborne and terrestrial organisms that depend directly upon bodies of salt water for food and other necessities of life. Marine biology often gets confused with oceanography, but oceanography focuses more into the features of the ocean. This includes the physical and chemical aspects, as well as the geological and geographical features. The best way to tell them apart is looking at their names. Marine biology deals with marine, as in water, and biology, bio, life. Oceanography deals with ocean, and graphy, graph, so the physical features of the ocean. In marine biology, it is one of the most difficult job searching majors in the world. The reason is that most of the jobs, about 99% of them, are government funded. This means if funding goes up, there are more job availabilities, and if funding goes down, there are less jobs. This also goes with the demand for them. This career path goes really strongly with the demand for them. Currently, there is a really high demand for marine jobs and marine biology jobs up in the north. So for people who are currently living in the South or in the southern states, they're going to struggle more with trying to find jobs than for people who are living up in the North. A lot of the stories that you hear for people getting involved in these jobs are very inspiring and actually get people more involved in these career paths. So while I was doing my research, I found quite a few of these stories. One included a girl named Amber, and she actually got involved with a lot of her school resources in order to find her career path. So she went to a college day fair, she went to a career fair, she used her counseling centers, who actually got her into a trip to SeaWorld. And yes, everyone has their own opinions of SeaWorld, but for her, this is how she got involved in marine biology. And she went down her path, and it helped her get into marine biology, and now she is going to school, and she's having a really great time. There was another school who was in the newspaper, and they were more so trying to persuade people to come to their school for marine biology. They were showing off the fact that their students do a lot of research and they win a lot of awards year after year, which to a lot of people, that's a big deal to them, that they can do research and win awards for their amazing work. And in this career path, that is a lot of what you do, is a ton of research, a ton of help in the world, and a lot of conservation, and you can win a lot of awards and honor for what you do. In another article in the newspaper, a girl and her thing had amazing teachers who led her to want to own her own aquarium, and she was struggling with the competition to get into schools, and she actually ended up getting to the school that she wanted. But a lot of people do have awesome teachers who teach them some sort of aspect in the science world that get them into this career. Mammalogy is studying mammals. So there can be terrestrial mammals and there are also marine mammals. The path that I personally want to go down is marine mammals, but for everyone it's very different. A lot of mammalogists tend to focus into specific groups of mammals. So this means that certain people tend to generalize where they go towards. So some people prefer to focus on sharks and dolphins. Some people prefer to focus into the cats group, like tigers and lions. A lot of people tend to not generalize it just because they have a lot of interest and they would prefer to focus their research into smaller groups so that they can broaden how much work that they do. The school time that you go into usually depends on exactly what career you are going into. Usually it is 4 years, but obviously if you are going down the research path or depending on what exact job you're doing, you might need a higher degree or more school time just for more education. A lot of marine biology jobs need some education in GIS or Geographical Information Systems. This is a database that helps you kind of see the difference between layers and also kind of satellites. So if you think of like an imaging system that kind of shows you the different colors like a satellite, that's basically what it is in simple terms. Marine biology and just mammalogy specifically is a lot of field work. So mammalogy, you are working specifically with mammals. So sometimes it is caring for animals. That would be your Aquarius specifically. But most of the time you are doing field work. So going out, taking samples, watching animals, seeing how they interact in the wild world, just kind of doing all that in the field. There are a lot of intense hours. So if you're working with nocturnal animals, you're going to be working during the night. Sometimes you have to go in at random hours throughout all 24 hours of the day. If you're working with chemicals, if you're doing experiments, it just depends on what your career is and what exactly you're doing. The average salary is around $66,000. This was, according to environmentalscience.org, this was the average in May 2020, but currently it might be a little bit different. That was just the average throughout all of the states in the U.S. as of that month last year. Again, the job availability is depending on government funding. I did my interview with Dr. Ann Pabst, who is a professor here at UNC Wilmington. She has her degree in zoology. She never went to school for anything in marine biology and mammalogy, nothing to do with marine wildlife. She actually focused her entire education on specifically zoology. So every one of her degrees is just in zoology, which is actually very interesting. In her teaching today is in mammalogy, but she went to school all in zoology, which is actually surprising for what the work she does today. So she got into mammalogy based on her environmental science teacher that kind of talked to her about dolphin conservation and different marine wildlife conservation, which got her hooked on marine biology, and that's kind of what got her started. She learned to kind of love to work with people and students when she took a break from school and worked at the Smithsonian in their marine program. So after she earned her undergrad, she took a break and worked there before going back to school. And that's when she learned that she really wanted to be a professor and kind of work with a lot of people. She currently does a lot of hands-on work with the stranding mammal rescue. So the UNCW funds that program, and if there is a stranding mammal, she can work with a ton of students. They go and rescue the mammal, do all of that kind of work, and they save all of those animals' lives. And her passion really guides her, so that is key to this job too. You're not really going to be fit out anything for this kind of job like you would like an accounting job to kind of just earn money if you don't like the job. This job and everything, like, you're working with live animals, so if you don't like the job and you don't have a passion for it, it's really going to like make you struggle, because if you don't like it and everything, you're going to be really miserable, and it's going to reflect on the live animals that you're working with. Do you, like, when you work with the strandings, do you work with another organization to do that?
No, UNCW is authorized to do that work. We have a letter of agreement from NOAA Southeast, so we are a stranding response institution, and so our lab runs that, and that actually will be handed off to Dr. Tiff's lab starting in January.
Yeah.
Because
the first thing that needs to be addressed is what actually is computer science. According to an article titled, "What is Computer Science?" Computer science is the study of computers, including computational theory, hardware and software design, algorithms, and the way humans interact with technology. There are endless amounts of ways that computer science can be used in the real world, along with many different career choices. So what exactly are some of these job options? A computer and information research scientist is an individual who plans, coordinates, and directs computer-related activities in an organization. A data scientist is an individual who designs data modeling processes to create algorithms and predictive models and perform custom analysis in a variety of industries. A software developer and programmer is an individual that creates applications that allow people to do specific tasks on a computer or other devices. These definitions were found in an article from Northeastern University titled, "What Can You Do with a Computer Science Degree?" A management analyst is an individual that conducts organizational studies and evaluations, designs systems and procedures, and more. Lastly, a financial analyst is an individual that conducts quantitative analysis of information involving investment programs or financial data of private or public institutions. These are just some of the many choices in the field of computer science. These definitions were found at onetonline.org. Many jobs in this field require at least a bachelor's degree, while some require additional learning to get a more in-depth understanding of specific skills. This is a continually growing job field, and it is projected to continue growing into the future. Here are some tasks you may see yourself doing in the field of computer science: software development, improving technology, programming, coding, numerical analysis, computational complexity, and computer graphics. Another big task that is related to most jobs as a computer scientist is validating and developing models for interaction between people and computers. According to the article, "What does a computer scientist do?" A good understanding for programs such as SQL, HTML, and JavaScript are some of the most important hard skills that you will need to become second nature to you. Other skills that are important in the field of computer science are working in databases, understanding different processes, educating yourself when necessary, flexibility, teamwork, accountability, and responsibility. To help deepen my understanding for computer science on a personal level, I interviewed Dr. Burkhard Englert, who is the department chair here at UNCW in the computer science department. After asking many questions and getting to know Dr. Englert, here are some of my key takeaways. Dr. Englert switched from philosophy to mathematics and even obtained his PhD in mathematics before realizing he wanted to pursue computer science, showing that switching up your majors is totally normal before you find where you belong. He worked at UCLA, California State Long Beach, and Northern Colorado before ending up at UNCW, getting a lot of different experiences and many different departments. He was attracted to the flexibility, consistently evolving field, the idea of open-mindedness, more concrete problems, and more hands-on experience that he was able to get in the computer science field. Problem solving was one of the most important skills that he encountered in this field. Some other helpful tips for students wanting to end up in this field were keeping an open mindset, being able to be open to all kinds of opportunities, and creating connections between class and real-life problems. This is all helpful information I gathered about computer science to help strengthen my understanding of what it really is.
Hi, my name is Ashley Escobar, and I chose chemistry as my major at the University of North Carolina at Wilmington because it's a subject that pushes me to work harder. What is chemistry? Chemistry is the scientific study of matter, its properties, and interactions with other matter with energy. This type of science deals with properties, composition, and structure of substances like elements and compounds. Chemistry is an umbrella study because it has various different career options, from biochemist to computer software engineer to lawyer. It's really a type of pathway, and there's multiple pathways you can go through. But there have been studies that students are less likely to graduate with a STEM major, but because since science is always evolving, there's always opportunities for people in STEM. Because depending on the occupation you choose, there are different skills that are recommended. Sometimes they can recommend developing theories, conducting research, process data, working in groups, communication, having observation and decision-making skills. These chemistry education majors should also develop skills involving planning and ability to adapting teaching methods and in being able to teach other people in different ways. Depending on the job you are interested in, the requirements vary from different chemistry jobs. Most careers require you to complete graduate school in chemistry, a bachelor's in chemistry, or just some job training in vocational schools, associates, or masters. Your level of education is dependent on your occupation. CK Science had an interview with a environmental chemist, and their typical day involves carrying out lab work to develop and improve both new and existing products. This can include formulating in the lab, testing material made from a quality and performance point of view, then reporting the results of this work. Some suitable systems are found. Process is scaled up to production trial. A typical day may also include working with customers in order to determine what they require from a product, and also with suppliers, and to determine what products they can offer which may be suitable for a given project. Obviously, for every chemist, there wouldn't be this typical standard schedule, but you will find yourself working with substances, with atoms, and particularly maybe in dangerous fields. For my interview, I decided to interview my chemistry teacher in high school. She made me inspired to take chemistry because of how she viewed this subject in a different perspective than others do. She viewed it more as a challenge instead of a pain and suffering. I decided to interview my high school chemistry teacher. Before transitioning to teaching, they were working in the laboratory as a chemist for a nuclear power plant company. For the nuclear chemist career, they needed training before being able to work. So this career is very versatile, and since science is always evolving, there's always new opportunities. Being a teacher allows her to be more connected to her children and do what she loves. Career-wise, she did have more fun at the laboratory, but felt it was more dangerous. She likes how chemistry gives her this adrenaline and makes her feel cooler. They mentioned the part of how chemistry is a challenging subject and makes you work harder. She recommends taking a college offerings at the community college since it helps gain knowledge and experience. They do mention that the field is very competitive and there are long hours put into it. Chemistry isn't for everyone, but it does provide and open doors to new opportunities, and there's always different options and things you can do inside this major. It's not just strictly just chemistry, but with various other skills and things you can do.